Hey guys, it's Joanne from 15 Spatulas. It is Sunday night. I've never actually filmed a video at nighttime before, but I wanted to wait to the very last minute to get any more Q&A questions from you, and I'm glad I did because a couple more just came in. Let's go ahead and dive in. The Tiramisu asks, do you like to travel, and if you do, what country do you think has the best food / you love to visit the most? I love to travel. So I have this map right by my front door. It's a gift that I got for my husband for our anniversary during the paper gift year. And we have tacks in all of the countries that we've traveled to. And I think I've been to something like 26 countries or something like that. I just love experiencing new cultures and food and seeing the beautiful places on this earth. I love to travel. The country with the best food has to go to France for sure. I mean, just all of their food is so good. Like their main dishes with all the amazing techniques they do and the desserts. I mean, I was in Paris and I had an asparagus and olive oil macaron, and I thought, like, I bought this thing and I was like, this is gonna be disgusting. It was so good. Like, I can't even tell you how delicious it was. Like, they're amazing. Okay, I got a couple of questions about what is your go-to comfort food. I feel like I have a collection of comfort foods that I go to. For savory, I'd probably say like a burger or a steak or nachos, something cheesy. And then for sweet, I would say a good chocolate chip cookie straight out of the oven with salt sprinkled on top. The best. I got a couple of questions about what is your favorite restaurant or cafe in New York City? Ooh, this is gonna be a hard one. Okay, we'll do one expensive one and one cheap one. So my favorite expensive place is Jungsik. It's a 2 Michelin starred restaurant in New York City. And I admit that I'm biased because I ate there on my birthday and they printed "Happy Birthday, Joanne" on the menu, which made me feel pretty special. But the food is so, so good. It's Korean food, but it's got all the technique of like new American and French cooking. There's this lobster dish that my husband had and he literally fell over in the booth. It was just so rich and creamy and flavorful and delicious. I love that place. And my favorite cheap place is Los Tacos No. 1. It's in Chelsea Market. Just really good, cheap, amazing tacos. Like my friend Mariana just had her birthday and she wanted to go there for her birthday. How did you and your husband meet and how long have you been together? So we've been together for 9 years. My husband's name is Pete and we met at a college fraternity party. I remember I saw him and I was like, who's that guy? And I went up and talked to him and I remember I got him to put on his Navy uniform for me. So I don't know how I ended up doing that, but I've been sold ever since. If you ever don't feel like cooking much but still want something homemade, what is your go-to quick dish? I feel like this is the story of my life lately. Something I love to make is my Asian lettuce wraps. I do that a lot. It makes for great leftovers and I've already done a video on that, so I'll put a link in the description box below. I've also been making a ton of bruschetta chicken lately. Bruschetta is just some tomatoes with olive oil, basil, balsamic, good stuff. I got a couple of questions about my ethnicity. You look very Asian. Are you from Asia country? So my mom is from South Korea. She moved to America when she married my dad. So I'm half Korean and then the other half is German, French, and Irish. Okay, I got a lot of questions about children. You guys want to know about babies. So I don't have any kids, and yes, I do plan to have children soon. Rachel Yang asked me, how old are you and do you plan to have children soon? I am 26, and yeah, I'd love to have kids soon. I'm definitely getting on to that age, so definitely starting to think about it. Are you ever self-conscious about being on YouTube / in videos? Oh my gosh, totally, yes. I love this question. I feel like it's one thing to like be recording yourself and then I actually edit all the videos too, so I had to watch it all again. It's definitely a little strange at first, but it's fine. I've gotten over it and you guys are so supportive and nice, so it's not a big deal. I got a couple of questions about what's your day job and is YouTube your main job? So YouTube is part of my main job. My main job as a whole is 15 Spatulas. So my food blog, 15spatulas.com, my YouTube channel, and then all of my other social media channels. I love what I do. I was working in finance and business before this, and I was so miserable. It was not for me, and I was like, I love food. I want to do something in food. So I started 15 Spatulas, and I'm just so lucky that I get to do this. Who or what inspired you to bake? So I feel like I'm mainly inspired by my desire to eat yummy desserts. But as far as who, I really love Dory Greenspan. She is an amazing baker, and I love her cookbooks. They are amazing, and she's the nicest and funniest person. I got to meet her at an OXO event, when was it? A couple of months ago, and she is just so humble and amazing. Do you like your Blendtec blender? I have a Vitamix. Also, is rent as expensive as they say on TV, like 14 to 20K a month? I do like my Blendtec blender, but you know, I know a lot of people with Vitamixes and love those as well, so I'm sure they're pretty comparable. 14 to 20K a month? Where do you see places that cheap? That's ridiculous. I'm kidding. That is so expensive. I do not pay anywhere near that. There's no way I could afford that. I think most people here would probably say the same. But there are places that rent for that much. But oof, yikes. Stacey Mean asks, what was your favorite childhood meal and why? I would say making gimbap with my mom and my brother. So gimbap is a Korean rice roll. It's kind of like sushi, but there's no raw fish. It's made with beef and vegetables. And we just like sit around the table together and we'd assemble our little rolls and we'd eat it. It was just so fun. It makes me a little nostalgic to think about it. I got a couple of questions about how did you learn to cook and are you a chef? So I'm not a chef because I didn't go to culinary school. I am self-taught, and I've been reading food technique books for a long time. I love kind of the geekier side of cooking, the science and chemistry behind cooking. I love Alton Brown. I love the Harold McGee book on food and cooking. I love America's Test Kitchen. And of course, I spent a lot of time cooking in the kitchen. I've been cooking since middle school. So, and I feel like, you know, you can learn so much just by trying out the recipes and tasting and saying like, like if I add a little bit of lemon and acidity to this, like how does this taste now? So been doing a lot of that. Emerald Girl 24 asks, what person in your life had the greatest impact on your cooking? Okay, I have to say two people. So the first person would be my mom. She is an amazing cook. She has gone to culinary schools in France and Italy, and she cooks Korean food and Thai food. She can cook so much, and she really kind of fostered and nurtured my love for food from a young age. And the other person would be my host mom that I lived with in Spain. So I studied abroad in Granada, which is in southern Spain, my junior year of college, and my host mom made these amazing multi-course meals every day for lunch, and it was just like, it touched my soul. Her food just had so much love in it, and to taste like authentic Spanish cuisine just had such a big impact on my cooking. I got a couple of questions about where I'm from and where I grew up. Nat Cruiser Guy asks, have you always lived in New York? Do I look like a New Yorker? Do I give off that impression? So I've only lived in New York for a year. I actually grew up, let's see, I was technically born a little bit outside of Chicago, but I only lived there until second grade. And then I moved out to California, the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's really where I say I'm from, because I don't really remember much from the Chicago area. And then after high school, I went all the way across the country to upstate New York. I went to college at the University of Rochester, met my lovely husband, and got a degree in economics and business. And then I've lived all over since then, because my husband is in the Navy. We've lived in Charleston, South Carolina. We've lived in Saratoga Springs, New York, Mystic, Connecticut. We lived in rural Georgia, which was a test for me because I am more of a city girl than kind of a country girl. But you know what? I got to have lots of seafood there and pralines and southern candies. It was actually fun to live there because I got to try like lots of different food and fried green tomatoes and all that stuff. But now I live in New York City, and I've lived here for a year, and I love it. What was the first type of cake you ever made? German chocolate cake. I love chocolate and coconut. That's one of my favorite cakes. I got a lot of questions about what made me want to start a YouTube channel. So when I started 15 Spatulas 5 years ago, I wanted to show the step-by-step photos of how to make a recipe so you'd know like what was going on in the middle of making it. And there came a point where there were certain recipes that could be shown so much easier on video. So that's when I started making video content, and it's just been history ever since. How did you find the passion for cooking? I feel like I didn't find the passion for cooking. It's just kind of always been there because I have always loved eating. My mom makes fun of me because I do not know how to speak any Korean except for the food words. What's your favorite kitchen gadget? Is a spatula a kitchen gadget? That's probably not a kitchen gadget. It's a utensil. My favorite kitchen gadget, ooh, a mandolin. I love slicing things thinly for like salads. That's a great gadget that I love having and use like every day. Do you mind when people try to take your recipes and make them lower fat? Of course not. I love when people kind of make the recipes to their taste. I'm a big fan of that. Don't mind at all. Did you love cooking as a kid? Oh my gosh, so much. I feel like when you're a kid, you focus on making so many like little crafty things like bracelets or I don't know, art. And I feel like food is like a crafty hobby thing, but you get to eat something delicious at the end. I feel like cooking is great for kids for that reason. How does the process of blogging differ from YouTube for you? Which do you prefer and what do you like about each? Which do I prefer? That's like asking me to pick my favorite child. I love them equally. So the process is kind of similar for both. Like I'm coming up with recipes and trying to teach and share something. What I like about the blogging is I feel like I get to write a little bit more and just kind of share the stills. Like it's definitely something you kind of like read and look at. It just has a different feel from something like YouTube. Just the videography is different. YouTube definitely has more like community and interaction to it. So they're just kind of different, but I really do love both so much. What do you like to do to satisfy or get rid of your cravings for something unhealthy, like something sugary, fatty, etc.? Okay, so my belief with this is that if you're craving like a brownie or something, you should not try to eat like some 100-calorie like chocolate covered pretzel. Like you should have the most decadent, rich, gooey, fudgy brownie, and each bite just like savor the crap out of that brownie and enjoy it. Because you know what, when I try to substitute a craving with something else, I always eat that thing and then I'm not satisfied and then I eat the indulgent brownie anyway. So that's my opinion on that question. Have you ever encountered a fan when you were just having a normal day? No, I haven't. Who's gonna be my first? Jules R asks, what inspires you to cook? So I need homemade food and cooking. It is like a part of my joy and my self-care. Like if I could eat out all the time for free, I don't think I would do it because I just love cooking so much. And it's the same thing if someone could come into my house and prepare all my food. Like it's just not something I would want because I love like washing the lettuce and chopping the carrots, and it's like a way to relax for me and just enjoy something for a meal, or you just put so much love and attention into it. That inspires me to cook every day. What's your favorite video you've done in the non-alcoholic drink series? Strawberry limeade. That's the one I've made the most. What is your Snapchat? I'm actually not on Snapchat. I've thought about joining and my husband's on Snapchat, but I am not. How many of you guys are on Snapchat? If you're on there, leave a comment below, let me know. I'm kind of curious. When will you do a collab with Allyssia from Mind Over Munch? So we just did one last month. She came over to my apartment in New York City, actually with her husband, Christian. We had so much fun. They brought over a big garbage bag full of sombreros and maracas, and we had a lot of fun doing some Cinco de Mayo themed recipes. I'll put the links to those in the description box below. Teddy Coy asks, do you remember what the first recipe was that you learned to cook and when? So the first recipe I learned to cook was with my mom. We made her fried rice, and it was like one of those recipe books that like you'd make with your class. And it was so much fun. I love her fried rice. I still eat it sometimes when I go home for the holidays, and I love it. Thank you, Mama. What's your favorite meal you've ever made? I get asked this all the time and my answer is always the same: beef Wellington. So it's kind of expensive because you use a really expensive cut of beef for it. So I really only make it for the holidays or special occasions, but it is such a treat. Oh my gosh. It's beef filet, like brushed with mustard, like a good grainy Dijon mustard. And it's got duxelles around it, which is like sauteed mushrooms with shallots, wrapped in prosciutto and then wrapped in puff pastry. It's so good. Alex Huang Animal Jam asks, what is your favorite recipe you've made a video about? Definitely my homemade nacho cheese sauce, because there is a mountain of cheese involved. What is your favorite dessert? Oh my gosh, these questions are so hard. Okay, my favorite simple dessert would be just like strawberries with homemade vanilla whipped cream. My favorite complex dessert would be my salted caramel tart with chocolate ganache and cocoa cookie crust, and I've made it on this YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description box below. What's your favorite food? What's my favorite food? All of the food. If I had to pick something, I would say burgers, because there's so many variations that you can do with burgers. What's your favorite food to cook? I would say California style cooking, because it's all about like the beauty of the ingredients and it's nice and simple. All right, that's it for my Q&A. Thanks so much for all the great questions that you asked me. This was so much fun. I feel a little hot and sweaty right now because I feel like I put myself on the spot with these questions. But thanks guys for watching, and be sure to come back on Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern for another recipe video. Bye!